JMax Fitness Elite Facebook group, and they're asking me, they want to know, how do I know if I'm an endomorph, an ectomorph, or an mesomorph? Because it seems like I'm not really fitting into any of these categories. And here's the truth. A lot of times you won't fit into the categories. But the one thing that you should know is that, well, here's the thing. If you're an ectomorph, it basically means that you're generally a skinny person, you have trouble gaining weight, and it's pretty easy to be lean. If you're a mesomorph, you have an easy time gaining muscle. That's what everyone wants to be. And if you're an endomorph, you have an easy time gaining weight. So that means gaining fat or gaining muscle. So a lot of times you'll look at this and you'll be like, okay, I do fit in one of these exactly. I'm a super skinny guy. I'm an ectomorph. But sometimes it's not that simple. When I was starting to learn about this kind of stuff, I went in and I was just like blown away, and it was kind of overwhelming. I spent literally months researching this stuff, and I just could not figure out if I was an ecto, endo, or mesomorph. It seemed like I was just like the worst parts of all of those. So I was like, this skinny guy had trouble building muscle, and whatever weight I did gain was fat. So I was like, man, this sucks. I don't fit into any of those. I'm basically just all the terrible parts of those. So then what I decided to do was, through a lot of trial and error, it turned out I was actually kind of wrong. So here's what I recommend you to do if you don't fit into any of those categories. What you should do is you should, first of all, start training consistently and have really high compliance in your nutrition program. What this is going to allow you to do is, maybe right now the way you look is just because you are doing a crappy workout program and your nutrition sucks. So if you fix this, you might find out that you actually just fall right into one of those categories pretty simply. Once you do this and you feel like, you know what, I am a mix of all of the above, okay, that's fine. Who cares? You're a mix of them. It's kind of cool to know. But maybe you'll never really know. Maybe, for instance, using myself as an example, it turned out that, you know what, I am basically a mesomorph, but I do have an easy time gaining fat. So that's kind of good to know. But you're only ever going to figure that out via trial and error. And once you figure it out, it's just, okay, I just know this about my body. Sure, it's kind of cool to know, but it doesn't really affect you that much. Another thing you can do, though, that I find is more effective is determining your fiber type makeup. So for me, what I found out was, when I did this test that I'm about to teach you, is that my upper body is more moderate to slow twitch, and my lower body is comprised most of fast twitch muscle fibers. That's going to give you a little bit more. This is going to teach you a little bit more about your body, because then my muscle seems to grow better if I use lower reps and heavier weights, or moderate reps or higher reps. And I think that's more important than the actual somatotypes of ecto, endo, or mesomorph. So here's what you can do. Take two lifts, one for the upper body and one for the lower body, and you're going to determine your 1 rep max. Once you have your 1 rep max, you're going to take 80% of that weight. So let's say your 1 rep max on the bench press is 200 pounds. Then your 80% of that is 160 pounds. You're going to take this weight and you're going to lift it for as many times as possible. So if you only get 7 or under reps, that means that your dominantly fast twitch fiber type in that exercise. If you get about 7 to 12 reps, that means you're kind of a mix of slow twitch and fast twitch. If you get more than 12 reps, that means that you are pretty much slow twitch dominant, or 50% or over of your muscle fibers are slow twitch. And then from there, you can take a little bit you can take this and actually apply it to your training, because you know that lifting in these certain rep ranges is going to help you build more muscle. So don't worry too much about the somatotypes, because here's the thing. If you train hard, you can basically look like a mesomorph. It doesn't really matter. Sure, if you're an ectomorph, you might have like narrower shoulders, but that's nothing you can really do. So just work with what you have and be the best you that you can be. So that means, building up muscle all over your body, staying lean, and just working your ass off to get there, and then stay there. Once you get there, the hardest part is getting there. But once you're there, it's a lot easier to maintain than you think. So you don't really need to worry about that kind of thing. So I guess my end thing that I want you to take away from this is it doesn't really matter what your somatotype is. Are you an endomorph? Are you an ectomorph? Are you a mesomorph? Okay. Does that really matter? No, because you can change your body via diet and exercise. Don't use this as an excuse to be like, oh, I'll never look like that because I'm an ectomorph, or I'll never look like that because I'm an endomorph. Screw that. You can look like that. You just need to work your ass off and get there.